What's up, Blueprint family? How y'all doing tonight? Thank you all for joining us. So tonight we're going to talk about tonight's topic: how to break free from hidden feelings of unworthiness and create more fulfilling relationships.
Yeah, because feelings of unworthiness will certainly doom a relationship. It will, sadly enough.
I don't think we talked about this when we talked about the self um when you doom the relationship. What is it called?
Self sabotage.
Yeah, I don't think we talked about this in self sabotage, but it does definitely relate to that topic of those people who just can't seem to be positive in a relationship.
Well, yeah, for sure. But definitely unworthiness is more like being positive about yourself first.
Right.
Like you don't even have that
Well, how the
feeling for yourself first. But
right.
believe it or not, it is so common in today's society, especially if you didn't grow up in a household that congratulated you when you did great things, told you how great you could be. All of those things at childhood really help and establish that positive talk within your mind. And if you don't have that, at a young age, then you deliberately have to go out there and seek that positive thought within your mind. If not, you can be left by default feeling unworthy.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess we can head into tonight's question. Let me pull this up for everybody. It is a great question. Her subject wasn't so much about what we ended up really thinking this whole question was about, but it's a great topic because for sure a lot of people can struggle with this. So let me pull up here. All right. Subject: are over or are older men serious in their relationships? I am dating an older 49-year-old man for 2 months now. I'm very happy that I met him because he is funny, affectionate, considerate, helpful. We have not met in person yet, so we only communicate on social media. But since we met, not a single day passed without him texting me, and we do talk a lot, all day long. He shares with me very personal things about himself, about his work, his studies, his family, and his life in general. For example, he owns a company, and let's say he is at ease financially. The question is, why such an accomplished man is interested in me? I cannot understand. With his charisma, his personality, and his wealth, he could get any girl he wants, but instead he chooses me, an ordinary girl. I am short, too plump, and I've never been noticed by guys before. I would like to say that I have an amazing relationship with my dad, so no, I do not have daddy issues. I would say that I surely have mommy issues instead. Wow. I certainly see a lot of things about this letter that, just scream unworthiness, feelings of unworthiness. What do you think?
I I think that is they've been talking for 2 months on social media.
Yeah.
I did not. I thought these people met each other. I find that kind of different.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, especially in today's society, it seems like, would you consider this dating? Back then for us, dating meant being in person, spending time together, the
yeah,
energy, like.
they haven't. There's a lot of questions I have now since listening to this. Does this man really exist? Like, is he really is who he say he is? Those are my questions.
We
Why
hope
haven't you?
so.
Why haven't you all met each other yet after 2 months of talking?
Yeah.
That's a red flag to me.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I do. I think that's certainly one too. I hope it's real.
Yeah, that's weird. I haven't been, I'm definitely out of the dating market.
Right.
But this
Yeah.
is something probably people on dating websites do.
Yeah.
They probably talk a lot first before they actually meet each other
Yeah.
or what have you.
Which you probably might need to do, considering if it may be a creep, and but then also you won't
You won't
know
know.
until
Yeah.
you meet.
Right. So
That's tough for the dating scene,
you
now.
and then her question is why her? If this man is real and who he say he is, he's looking for a wife.
That wasn't even the question. That was the funny part. Hers was, are older men serious in their relationships? Of course. Any man that wants to be in a relationship serious, but I certainly think when she says, I cannot understand, what you were saying, how she says, why he chooses an ordinary girl like me. That's unworthiness, clearly. But we can go back.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about the topic of unworthiness, but yeah, he's not. Well, if he's a man, you have yet to really understand who this guy is.
Yeah.
49-year-old boys do exist, so if you feel comfortable in calling him a man, then a man at the age of 49 is definitely looking for a wife. So that may be something that she's not used to. Obviously, she talked about her shape and her age is 20, mid 20s,
Probably early 20s. Yeah.
mid 20s, early
Yeah.
20s.
Yeah.
So she doesn't understand, and she may think that this is too good to be true. That's the reason why you really need to meet this man to make sure that it is a real, that he's real. He's not catfishing you.
Yeah.
Own businesses at the age of 49. That's a real thing. That's a possibility. You see, and that goes back to what we were talking about yesterday with younger guys. You're in a better off position in your older age if you stick to your career and build your career to actually marry a woman and actually keeping her. So this guy, if he is who he say he is, he does have all the facilities, resources, and all of that to actually keep any young wife who's willing to be kept.
Yeah, but why for 2 months they haven't met though? You would think if he is serious like that, he would want to meet her, like
Well,
2 months and
well,
at least.
the thing is, the only thing I can think of is that he's too busy. If he's a real businessman like he say he is, he only has probably about this much time to actually find time to meet you within 2 or 3 months because he's so busy. Businessmen are busy. I've heard that before that like look at our lives. We how much time do we have?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And if they're long distance,
Yeah.
maybe they can only see each other about a month
Right.
at a time.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why it's important for this man to try to find a wife so that he can have her close with him.
Yeah.
So that he can see her more often, be with her more often, instead of having phone call conversations. They talk all day long. So
that's a good thing.
Right. That is. So that, but during the days, she's probably working during the day. He's probably working during the day also too.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're talking all day long,
Yep.
is he really working on who he say he is? Those are just my, you get what I'm saying? Because if he owns businesses and things like that, then you really need to, you really won't have the time to actually talk to her all day long, man. Mr. 49-year-old businessman, so it's just, I don't know about this story. People get catfished all the time.
That is
But
true.
let's assume that this man really is who he say he is, and this young female is having these doubts of unworthiness. What is your advice to her?
Well, I certainly think that is what it would be, feelings of unworthiness. But let's just go into that definition, because there are many signs that you may be feeling unworthy, and it shows up in so many different ways. So I think it'd be good for the viewers just for us to go down a small, simple list of ways that unworthiness can actually be showing up in your life, or feelings of unworthiness. So the first one would be feeling like you don't deserve good things. This would be prime example for her, because this seems like a great guy. If he is who he is, I'll question out, but if he is who he is, this sounds like a great guy. So feelings like you don't, deserve this great thing, or you don't deserve love, happiness, success, or anything else that would just bring you fulfillment. If you feel that way, that is a true sign of feeling unworthy.
Right. That reminds me of that quote, and I can't remember it verbatim, but I think it was a book called "As a Man Thinketh," and it said that a woman, basically like a woman who's married, shouldn't fear to lose her husband because ultimately it could manifest, and it's self-sabotage. So this young lady is basically, she's saying that, why am I such a candidate for such a wonderful man? You shouldn't question that. She needs to embrace it.
Yes.
Because you're dooming yourself. You're dooming yourself by having doubt she's doubting herself. So she really needs that self-confidence in the relationship. And it goes back to her mother, how she says that you probably going to get there, but if she don't understand what that relationship or that dynamic looks like, and she says she don't have daddy issues, so she evidently had a father in her life, but her mother may have not been there. And so therefore she may be scared of that dynamic of actually marrying someone. But in this case, she's marrying someone who is a supreme provider, and she's in denial about herself being able to serve him.
Yeah.
That's what, you're supposed to enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
You really are supposed to embrace this type of relationship, relinquish all of your fears and worries and doubts, and enjoy and be of service to each other.
Yeah, that is so true. And I mean, she can go through the full list of great things about him, but then when she starts talking about herself, she goes into the negative. In a moment, we're going to, of course, get into the things that you can do to switch this up, but you can obviously see a pattern of not thinking very highly of yourself by default, like right off, bat. That's the first thing you think of is negative things about yourself because you didn't go into list the positive things. So that actually, I kind of want to go quickly through and one of the main sign was like low self-esteem. That's another one. I don't even think I wrote that down on the list. I'm not quite sure. But of course, low self-esteem. That is a big sign of feeling just unworthy within yourself. So another sign, though, would be blaming yourself for things that are out of your control. That's one people might not even think about, though. What do you think?
Blaming yourself for things. Yeah, but that's more so somebody who's who plays the victim. Or look forward to play the victim.
Well, what it's basically saying is when you blame yourself for something that you might not have had any contribution into why it happened, it's like saying that I'm the reason, or that you're the reason why this bad thing happened by default, if you get what I'm saying.
So
versus saying not like this thing is happening to me, what was me, victim.
Hypothetically speaking, that man got into a car accident. She's gonna say, "Oh, it was because of me. It's my fault."
Yeah.
Or like that's not
more
right.
So the other way, if she were to get in a car accident, then and it not be her fault at all or something, then in a way she would look to blame herself. Like that's kind of how it will play.
There are people out there like that.
Yeah, because that's how it will play out. Like feeling like, oh, I'm the cause. And a lot of that is like trauma. That also goes right back into that trauma that our society seems to be quite rooted in, is because when you believe, or when you're constantly told by a parent that, oh, you're the reason why this thing happened, or you're, especially commonly in single parent homes where the mother or father may blame the child for the predicament, like, oh, if I didn't have you as a bill, those are tough things that a child takes in. And that blame is in a way subconscious, where they'll naturally always start thinking like, oh, they're the reason something happened, when in all actuality that's not true. You're worthy of
It's
good things happening. Yeah.
conditioning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Next one, you want to read that?
Comparing yourself to others and feeling like you come up short. So that's another one. Comparing yourself to others and feeling like you're coming up short. That reminds me of like our children. If someone pulled a straw and they got the short straw and they're mad and upset.
Yeah.
Or if two of them ate their popsicle and one of them has theirs still, they're mad at the one brother or the sister who still have their popsicle. There's levels of maturity that goes along with this as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can see how a lot of trauma has a lot to do with comparing yourself to other people, and how that can make you feel unworthy.
Yeah.
So stop comparing yourself. Everybody should do that. That's like that social media syndrome that's going on, where people compare themselves to other people versus their likes and dislikes.
Yeah.
Or what about those people who break up with each other and they mad as hell at each other and they go on social media and then try to compare their lives with their exes, which is crazy. That you're causing undue hardship to yourself. That's self-inflicted. It really is. So that's not good. Don't do those things.
Yeah, because everybody's walk of life is different. Everybody, in most of the time, especially within that social media age, everybody likes on social media to put their highlights out, so that's the most glamorized, beautiful aspect that a person is looking at. When it's life isn't always perfect glamour beauty. Like, everybody has its ups and its downs. So,
or the lowest of their lows too. So those would be those people.
Yeah.
The unworthy people. This rainy clouds all the time people.
Yeah, don't be like that. Everyone has their own unique strengths and weaknesses. So that's certainly what we're going to get into when we're talking about how you can change all this around. So another sign of unworthiness or feeling unworthy is kind of different, but it applies to when you consciously go out and you avoid certain activities or social situations because you don't feel like you'll fit in or you're good enough for the crowd. Hey, how many times do you really actually go out for those things that you really want to do and be a part of those things that you love and you think are very cool to be a part of, but you don't because you feel, hey, I'm probably, you don't think that you're up for the part. That's a sign of unworthiness.
Yeah, don't count yourself out. Try to be part of the activities. Be social, because that's the only way you can make relationships.
Yeah, you either do or you don't, in a way, because if you do it and you keep doing it, you'll get better at it and you'll feel more comfortable and more relaxed and you'll keep doing it. But if you don't do it and you're given to the fear, then you're just not going to do it, and you never know.
What about, like, this reminds me of like introverts, but introverts, either they're like this, they don't like to communicate with other people, either they just don't like other people, period.
Yeah, I think in a way it depends on the type of introvert per se, because I am introverted, but in the sense of I just need a moment of solitude after being around a large crowd. So I don't keep myself from the large crowd, but after I am in a large crowd, I need to take time to relax, recuperate, and recharge and detox my energies in a way because of that. But that's personal. So I don't know. Some introverts, hey, if you're an introvert, let us know how this may apply, because sometimes do we use words like introverted and stuff like that as a cop out from really not doing the things that we could actually really enjoy and really be good at? Who knows?
Yeah, that, or either do you really have self-confidence issues, self-esteem issues?
Yeah.
And that will segue us into the next point. Is that good?
Yeah.
For that? Having low self-esteem.
Yep. Oh, this is the one I was talking about. There you go. Now we can get into that. How that was clear in this one.
Yeah. And that's what the case of this female, the unworthiness, having low self-esteem about you, saying that this is too good to be true for myself, so therefore I think I'm going to opt out. people with that type of mentality, of course, yeah, you're dooming yourself. You're not giving yourself a chance at all. You're always going to come last. You're putting yourself last also. So with that type of mentality, how do you expect to win if you are dooming yourself and saying this is too good to be true? Should I really pursue this situation with this man, and is he serious about me? Well, first of all, I've explained that in the beginning. This is a healthy type of relationship or foundation. Um, Beside the fact that you all haven't met each other, if he is who he say he is, then yes, you want a man who's well established
Yeah.
instead of having to struggle check to check, trying to figure out whether you're going to eat this week or buy gas to go to work this week.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to go through that. You don't want to set yourself up and trade off. And the trade-off is having a boyfriend or girlfriend who's very attractive. That struggle love. Why not improve your living situation by this young lady dating up? She's dating an older man who owns a business.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's the perfect scenario for her to actually thrive in.
Yep. And she acknowledged that, he's chosen her like to be. And then she goes straight into the low self-esteem decline. That's not, you don't have to point out really quickly your disadvantages.
Right. I mean, she says, I'm an ordinary girl.
Aren't we all?
Right. 90% of everybody are ordinary. They're average. Yeah. You're average at best. Just be happy that you
ordinary people. We're just ordinary people.
Just be glad that you've found someone who wants to entertain you. So you need to put your best foot forward and show him that you are of service of being his wife. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, and you're ready for it.
Right.
There's nothing, and a lot of this stuff, of course, like I said, we're going to go through the great ways that you can challenge this, but this is definitely a thought that is great to be challenged, because you don't know that other guys have never noticed you before. You wouldn't know. There could be guys checking you out and you don't, you miss it completely. Hey, it happens. That is, of course, a fallacy of thought that can be challenged within the mind, and just really would show your low self-esteem and your lack of self-love. You have to love yourself and really know that you are an ordinary girl who is worthy of extraordinary things. And that is a fact. Yeah. So another one, another feeling, another sign that you're feeling unworthy would be feeling like you are a burden to others. That's different, and in a way could apply to this young lady, because if she is a younger woman and this is an older guy, she may not see her value in what she can offer him, which is probably why she's feeling this way. She doesn't see that value that she can offer him. And instead, she may see herself as a burden. He's just going to get a short, plump, woman. Well, that's not the case. You're not a burden.
Right. Maybe, I don't know. I don't like to speak on hypothetics or what ifs. There's other, maybe, I don't know. Maybe she don't have any wife skills. But if that is
Wifeconomics.com.
right, if that is the case, then you can check out wifeconomics.com, where my wife has set up multiple classes that women can take in order to harness those skills on what it takes to be of service to a man and her family.
And they're intrinsic. That is certainly something I love to always remind women. It's nothing new. This is nothing created from, just newness. No, these are intrinsic things that's deep within us that are divine, feminine, beautiful qualities that masculine, righteous provider males are looking for. That he's not a righteous provider male is not going to look at you as a burden if you know your value. if we think of it all in perspective, if you see yourself as a burden, then he is going to see you as a burden. But if you can see yourself as the value that you have to offer, then he will too, because that will be what you're highlighting. You will be highlighting your values, your great characteristics, not your bad ones. Yeah. Next.
So we're the next.
Yeah.
Having thoughts of self-harm, by far. If
Yeah.
you're harming yourself, then of course you feel in, situations of unworthiness. Don't do that. You need to really seek help and get some help, some professional help, definitely professional help. If you're self-harming yourself, because you're in a very bad spot in life, and you really need to figure out ways in which you can make yourself feel better.
Yeah. And that's okay. We all have our low moments. Never think that any human walking this earth, I'm pretty sure, has had moments where you just think so low of yourself. We have all had them, but hopefully we have all figured out ways that we can grow from those low moments. And if you get entrapped into those habits of low thoughts, then you figure out ways that you can pull yourself out of it. And like my husband said, if you can't do that on your own, certainly, if your thoughts are overwhelming and it's not something that you can address, or you're even thinking of giving in to any thoughts of self-harm, get help. Really get professional help. There are a lot of resources out here that you can reach out to. So, yeah, that's always a tough one. But, feelings of unworthiness, they can show up in a relationship in a variety of ways. So those were the signs of, how it can manifest within the individual. But within a relationship, things like you constantly needing reassurance is a surefire way that you're feeling maybe unworthy within your relationship. You don't always have to ask your partner, do you love me? Do you find me attractive? Are you happy with me? What do you think about me? Is this okay? What about this? You need that reassurance all the time. You don't.
Yeah, but a lot, that helps with the communication.
Yeah.
Like women, you all like to feel attractive, but we don't have to. Men don't always have to tell you look beautiful all the time.
Yeah, you should feel that within yourself. It's
right.
one thing to say, oh, I don't look good. Do I look good? And another thing to say, right. And then another thing to say, I look good. Baby, don't you think I look good? That's two different energies. You get what I'm saying? And that it's kind of a lower self-esteem energy when you're constantly seeking reassurance versus you constantly affirming what you already know within yourself and maybe looking for a little cosign. And there's nothing wrong with that. But certainly, you don't need to always look for that validation within your spouse. But if you're feeling unworthy, sometimes that's how it can manifest.
Right. If you're doing these things, then you are going through situations when you're feeling unworthy.
Yeah.
The next one, you may be overly critical of yourself.
Yeah.
So if you are pointing out all your flaws and your mistakes constantly, you're always in the mirror complaining about yourself, then do something about it.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. But that is a sign of feeling unworthy.
Yeah.
It's different complaining. Complaining about something, especially yourself, without acting on it, that's a whole issue within itself. Because if it's something about yourself that you don't like to change, that means if it's something about yourself that you need to change, but you don't do it, then that's a discipline issue that goes on with the unworthiness, to be honest with you. So you need to figure out how to get some discipline within yourself. If it comes to your weight, I'm talking more so about your weight.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not happy with the way that you look.
Yeah.
Because of your weight, then get some discipline about yourself and hit the gym and get results. And that will also boost your self-esteem as well.
Yeah.
But if you're just overly critical of yourself, and then it gets into the point of you making falsehoods about yourself, you need to stop that.
Yeah.
Replace those thoughts, negative thoughts, with positive thoughts, of course, about yourself, and get out the mirror. Get out of the mirror and occupy yourself and your time doing something else that's more productive.
Yeah. And a lot of times too within a relationship, a man or a woman would have a hard time accepting love and a compliment from their spouse if they're feeling unworthy. It would always be like your spouse says, "Oh, you look nice today." And you'd be like, "Oh, no, I look like crap," like in response versus, "Oh, thank you," and being accepting of it. Sometimes that can, manifest in a relationship as you possibly feeling unworthy. Yeah. Yep. Another one of feeling unworthy is you may be afraid of abandonment. That is a big one. And I think one in particular that I myself had to overcome, feeling of abandonment and realizing that in a now moment, if you focus on the beautiful now moment that you have, especially if you are relishing in a great moment and you are experiencing something beautiful, but in lingering in your mind, you're afraid of losing it or something going wrong or your partner leaving you or, something like that. But for me, mine was tied to not having my father around. So in a way, like just in like a inner thing of, is he gonna stick around, because you never had a man like really stick around, but this is very early on, in our relationship as dating and stuff. So that was something that I can really attest to, having to overcome and talk to yourself like, I enjoy this moment right now, and that's all that matters. Like, you focus really on the now and the beautiful, appreciating the loving, the beautiful moment you're in now, and not so much fearful of what could happen or, may happen, or not even getting a relationship at all because you're just so fearful of it ending. You know how you say that sometimes women get into relationships and they're just like, oh, well, it may end in divorce anyway,
Right. Yeah, they doom it before they get
Mhm.
in because of fear and
Of
lack
abandonment.
and,
Yeah.
and scarcity, feelings of those. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you set yourself up. You mentally psych yourself out, so you're dooming your situation, your relationship before it even starts. So
Yeah.
those are ways that abandonment can doom your relationship because
Mhm.
you're harboring those negative thoughts, and those turn into your actions ultimately.
Yeah. Whether you are, and what that can look like, my husband is talking about, maybe you constantly telling your spouse, like, oh, you cheating on me, you doing this, you gonna leave me, ain't you? Da-da-da, you saying stuff like that. And that could really get on your spouse's nerve to where they actually will think about, well, dang, I don't want to do this more. They always telling me I'm gonna leave anyway, so then, hey, they leave. So yeah, you gotta watch the things you say, the thoughts you have, for sure.
Yeah, because it
Mhm.
will turn into reality.
Yeah.
And you may be aggressive. You may be passive aggressive or manipulative.
Yeah.
That's another one. And
Yeah.
and you may use these tactics to get what you want from your partner, which isn't that's not the right way to go about it at all.
Yeah.
You're dooming your relationship by doing these things.
Yeah, that's really how it shows up, with you feeling like I'm not worthy of, you're feeling I'm not worthy of my spouse being and doing this for me, so instead I feel like I have to manipulate them, when really it should be, I am worthy of my spouse treating me this loving, kind way, and I don't have to manipulate them or bribe them or do anything to get them to do it, because they willingly want to do it because they enjoy their relationship with me. That's really the mindset that you kind of have when it comes to your dynamic of your spouse. Really, what you think about what they think about you plays a huge part in what they think about you. Ironically, though, ironically. Hmm. Yep. Another one is you may be emotionally unavailable. So this can kind of go back to the fear of abandonment and not getting into things that you're fearful of. So you actually block off like parts of yourself. You don't emotionally dive into a relationship like you really could if you weren't fearful of, something or feeling unworthy. So if you're having a hard time opening up to your partner, then hey, you may feel like you're unworthy of that level of vulnerability, that level of comfort and security that you really could get from your spouse. You have to be comfortable in order to do this. So if you don't feel like you're worthy of doing it, don't feel comfortable, and you won't.
I think I would say that's my abandonment. issue, feeling of unworthiness, is emotionally unavailable. I had to learn how to be empathetic. Didn't know what the world that was, and then that was a thing. Caring about other people's feelings. You care about other people, but to dive deeper into their feelings and trying to understand their point of view, or care to understand their point of view. Because I can honestly say, when we first started dating, I really didn't. I I was definitely not emotionally available starting out, and I thought that that was okay because that's what men do.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So that's not what
Yeah.
humans do.
Yeah.
To be honest with you,
Yeah.
humans show emotion and empathy for each other,
Yeah.
and that's what build relationships. Not being emotionally unavailable destroys relationships. It shows that you don't care. That's what that does. It shows that you don't care. You're selfish. You only care about your feelings. That's what that means.
Yeah.
And it could be because you have some sort of trauma or wall or boundary that you have set up so high that
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to expose your inner feelings and share your joys, if that, with other people, to try to make yourself more vulnerable, is a human thing. And that's perfectly fine. That's how you build relationships.
Yeah. 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 I also think too with men, it may be you just having to soften up a little bit and being in a relationship. Men, when y'all naturally get in that emotional unavailability, I don't think is like something y'all mean to do per se, because it wasn't like you weren't opening up and talking to me and stuff. But, as far as showing me emotion, that it took time to come about. And I think that's more so a man thing.
No, it's not.
You don't think?
That's not a man thing. That is a, what was it, the abandonment. That's an abandonment issue.
Okay.
Not wanting to show that part of us, trying to be hard up all the time, or trying to act like
Not be
things, yeah,
vulnerable.
not being
Mm-hmm.
vulnerable. That is an abandonment issue. And that's what I've realized, understanding people and the psychology of people. That's what I realized, that's what us young men do, is
Mm-hmm.
trying to show us being all hard. That's what the 90s taught men, trying to be all hard and don't show emotions and fight everybody and do all this negative stuff. And that's really what a man is. That's far from what a real man really is. A human man, that's
Yeah.
far from what a human man really is.
Yeah.
So that's what I've learned, over this course, in this journey of me being me, that emotionally unavailability is not a human thing.
Yeah.
It is a thing that you pick up because you've been traumatically abused somehow, and
Yeah.
you don't even know it. So that's something that you put up to protect yourself from other people so that they don't hurt you. That's what that's when that comes from, to be
Yeah.
honest with
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Well, feelings of unworthiness, it certainly can be a difficult thing to overcome, but again, no one's alone in this. A lot of people experience feelings of unworthiness. So we came together with some great tips that could help you really get over any feelings of unworthiness. So the first one would be to, of course, identify the source of your unworthiness. So once you've figured out where these feelings are come from, maybe what traumatic incident, like you were talking about, took place that may have triggered you from feeling this way, then you can really start to address it, because you say, hey, this is what it is. Sit with it and let it be. You don't have to put yourself back into that moment, but just being able to identify it will help you address it.
you. Well, and then also too, it helps you to recognize it,
Mm-hmm.
and for you to be honest with yourself that, hey, I get it now. I'm acting this way because this happened to me,
Mm-hmm.
and I fully accept that. I
Yeah.
accept these as my feelings. Moving forward, I will do this instead, because I realize the way that I'm thinking is hurting other people. And not only is it hurting other people, it's hurting myself.
Yeah. Mainly, if anything, it's hurting yourself, because gracious. You're the only, really, when you think about feelings of anything, it's your own. They're your own. They're within yourself.
Right.
So a lot of times people may not even know that a person is silently suffering within themselves with the feelings that they have, because they don't bother addressing it, recognizing it, seeing like, hey, this may not be healthy.
Right. Oh,
Mhm.
yeah, of course. Then you set up boundaries and walls and things
Yeah.
and put up fake facades and ego trip and all this other stuff
Yeah.
to keep those emotions and those feelings down.
Yeah. Those
That's
are
what
like
happens.
defenses
Right.
of,
Yeah.
yeah.
You layer all of that behind,
Mm-hmm.
Egos and material things or what have you, just to
Yeah.
hide your hurt instead of expressing it and letting it go. And then you can make it a part of you in a positive way.
Yep. Yep. That is true.
And then next, change your negative thoughts. I've spoken about that. That is a solution to
Mm-hmm.
all of this as well. Because when you start thinking about positive things and getting rid of the negative,
Mm-hmm.
that helps to actually bring out the real you,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest with you. So
Yeah.
um you can ask yourself if go ahead and go over
Oh, yeah,
if you're
sorry.
really if these things are really true that you're talking about and what you're speaking about, those feelings of unworthiness, are those things really true? And then you can decipher whether these things are bad or good, and then of course know that they're bad. So what you need to do is challenge those negative thoughts and then replace those things with things that are positive and do things that that are right and just,
Yeah.
because those things will build your character for you to be available and open to relationships so that they can grow.
Yeah, I do want to say that this, to me, is not light work. I don't want to downplay how much work thought really is, especially when you're having a negative thought that's kind of habitual, where it doesn't require, the negative thought doesn't require any work, but the positive thought to try to change it or even challenge it will require work. So don't go easy on yourself and just let it be. If you have a negative thought, don't just stop and just say, oh, well, yeah, that's true. Actually challenge that thought with a thought of curiosity. Is this really true? What makes it true? Is there any evidence of the contrary? What has actually took place in contrary that can say that this is not true? Having that mind of curiosity and trying to really challenge that thought and see, like, where's the validity in it and if it really holds. And maybe if you don't have any evidence of the contrary, just the simple thought of challenging it and saying, this may be true, but I don't like it. So, what can I do to change it? I'm still here, so I can do something to change this negative thought that may be true, but it doesn't always have to be true. People drop beliefs all the time, and this is certainly a belief that you have to be able to willing to let go and pick up something better.
Right. And just replace it with positive affirmations and mantras.
Yeah.
Make that a part of your daily life. While you're
Mm-hmm.
driving to work, while you're driving home from work, repeat these positive affirmations about yourself,
Yeah.
because that is what breeds change, believe it or not. If you're just starting, you speak it into existence and you program your brain to actually make this a part of you. That is what's going on. Like my wife said, it takes multiple attempts, practice to correct this type of behavior. And eventually what happens, it does work. It turns out that you will be able to change your life and make negativity go away.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not to say that you're never going to ever think negative about yourself, but the time between that negative thought and your ability to quickly say, oh, I ain't thinking this, will greatly diminish, because it will be such a point where you'll recognize, hey, this is not a thought that I want, and I'm going to quickly think something else. So, yep. The next one would be to practice acknowledging all the good things that are happening around you. This is something that I love to do whenever anything happens. Always practice. I'm thankful that this part happened about it. Find something that you can be thankful about, so that then you're always able to recognize the good things that are going on, regardless of what's going on. If you can think about it, then hey, you can really believe that, I am worthy of these great things that are going on.
All right. That's goes back to what I was saying. So you think about, think about positive things, make a list, write it down, make it your mantra.
Yeah.
Create a, say 2 sentences or 3 positive sentences about yourself and incorporate those into your daily life.
Well, more so an attitude of gratitude means if something happens, like
Oh,
say
right.
you lose a parking, or you're looking for a parking space, and all of a sudden this person comes out at the same time where you're pulling up. Don't chalk it up to luck. Chalk it up to you being worthy of that parking space happening at that moment in time. Be grateful and acknowledge all the great things that are happening all around you, things that you have no control over. Anything takes place. Maybe you save a little money because somebody left the coupon laying down, or you found a couple coins. Whatever it is, just acknowledge that, hey, this great thing happened and I am worthy of this great thing happening, regardless of me having to do any work for it. I am worthy of great things happening all the time. I'm worthy of great things happening that I have no control over. That is a great mantra to have. So, yeah.
Right. No, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. I was thinking about that, what you were saying, and something else is definitely came up. But yeah, you need to, count your wins. Count your wins and the things that are good, that have happened, and that are happening. Focus on those, because that will give you a better outlook and a positive outlook in your life, and it will change your mood. It will change the way that you treat other people as well.
Yeah.
So acknowledge the good things that are happening and count those things, and then just disregard the negatives.
Yeah.
There's no point of trying to count negatives, because ultimately what you're doing is that you're creating better outcomes for yourself by focusing on all the good things that have happened around you.
Yeah, and you train your mind to look for the positivity. So for me, for example, this is a habit that I've built up again for years. So little things will happen where I'll think, oh, we only have 2 applesauces in my mind, and I go to the cabinet and I see 3. Wow, I'm like hype over these little things. Like, it who cares if there's 3 applesauces? But for me, in that moment in time, I'm extremely grateful because I have 3 kids and I don't have to worry about them fighting. So it's just those little unexpected things that even you may think, I don't gotta be grateful for that. Yeah, you should, because it just builds up that beautiful habit of gratitude, and it create so many things for you to be more grateful about. The next one, you were already talking about, the focus on your strengths.
Yeah, focus on your strengths. Everyone have strengths and weaknesses, but for those people who have feelings of unworthiness, then you need to actually focus on your strengths, appreciate those things, and work on those on your strengths. Win, those things that make you feel good. Do those things, do things that make you feel good. This made me think of this real quick. Young guys who have feelings of unworthiness. And if you like playing video games, play the video game on the easiest level, because it gives you this false sense of winning. It gives you that dopamine hit in your brain. So therefore, you have a reference of what feeling good feels like. Start off small, doing small stuff like that. Be good at, do something that you're good at, and feel the win, feel the progress from that, and also your other strengths that you are good at. You may be good at your job, your career. Focus on those things. Appreciate those things, because those are your talents. Harness your talents. Hone your talents. Make it sharp, so that you are the best that you can be, because these things make you feel good. Do things that make you feel good.
Yep. Yep. So a next one would be to then approach your goals realistically. So kind of like you were saying about if you know this game is super hard, don't go into it on hard mode thinking you about to feel good about yourself. Take realistic steps to get to your goals. If you know that this is something you want to do, establish your plan to do it. And first, just know that if there is something you want to achieve, you are worthy of achieving it. And tell yourself, I am worthy of who I have to become in order to achieve it. Because that's really any goal is all about. It's who you have to become, which will be drastically different than who you are now, so that then you can reach that drastically different goal that you really want. And that's really what worthiness is all about, recognizing that, hey, I'm human, but I'm also worthy of doing some great things as a human. And I am worthy of giving myself the time that I need to become who I need to become. I'm worthy of giving myself the skills. I'm worthy of giving myself the disciplines. I'm worthy of giving myself all I need in order to reach my goals. But you have to be very realistic in this approach so that you're not setting yourself up for failure by thinking, oh, I need to set this huge goal that, vibrationally you may not be there yet, or physically you may not be there yet, or mentally you may not be there yet. And that's just what it is. But if you can set those little goals that will help you reach that big goal, then, it'll really help you know, hey, I am worthy of this.
Right, especially if you can track this progress.
Yeah.
Tracking progress lets you know how far you've came. It gives you confirmation that
Yeah.
you're succeeding. So definitely, if you can set yourself some realistic goals
Mm-hmm.
and you can see your progress, ultimately, doesn't that make you feel good? Doesn't it? Yes, it does.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Another, when you are going after your goals, affirm your ability to reach those goals. Constantly go back and affirm the fact that you can do this. Because if you say, like, oh, I have this goal, but it's too hard, you're never going to take the time to do the things you need to do so that you can reach it. So constantly tell yourself, I can reach this goal. I'm going to do this goal. I am worthy of this goal. And no matter how much hard work it may take or whatever, I'm going to do it. So that's just really a part of, I guess, the mental discipline that we all have to go through when trying to reach any goal. Because everybody will feel at some point like, wow, this may be hard, or am I really worthy of this? And all these questions, when really you have to just tell yourself and hold yourself in that place of, if this is something that I want, then I am surely worthy of it, because, hey, it's something that I want. But again, be realistic and making sure that you are doing the things to align you with your goals, because that's the only way you're really going to achieve them.
That's
Yep.
correct. Well said.
Last one.
To celebrate your successes.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, celebrate your wins, because you basically taken in the fact that you've accomplished something.
Mm-hmm.
It feels good to you that you celebrate your successes, your progress. So you track that to the fact that you've accomplished your goals. So once you've done that, it is healthy to celebrate your wins. Celebrate even small victories. That will help you to also get rid of the feelings of unworthiness as well. So that is, that's something that is something that a lot of us probably don't do. Job promotions, we celebrate graduations, birthdays, things like that. But it could just be something small, like, you've took the initiative to go speak to someone today, if you're an introvert or whatever the case may have you, or you took the time to actually be vulnerable and have a one-on-one, heart-to-heart conversation with somebody who you've been putting up a boundary against. Those things. Celebrate small things like that. It may not be small to you, but they may be actually big deals in those situations. But like I said, celebrate those things because you've took the courage. You use courage. You use your courage to actually go and do things that were different.
Yeah.
And so appreciate that about you and make that something that resonates within you that you will do moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Yep, certainly. Take the time to celebrate your success. I said last one, but we actually got a little bit more. Surround yourself with positive people. I really love the idea that you are the closest people that a product of the closest people that you keep around you. I really do think that is such a true statement, because if you look who is around you, hopefully you're surrounding yourself with people who inspire you, who help you want to be a better person, who help you find love for yourself and within yourself. And if this is the case, then you are right on track to helping yourself stay in alignment with feeling worthy of such a beautiful life that you create. Because if you can help maintain those positive relationships around you, you will really have like a bouncing board in a way of more confirmation coming your way, more love coming your way, more peace of mind coming your way. And of course, a great thing for you actually being able to be influenced by people who are also great people is only going to add to your great attributes as well.
Yep, definitely. You don't want to be, what was it? Birds of a feather flock together. So you really need to take a look at the people that you're with. You need to do this often at times. The people who you call your friends and see what they're doing. The people that you associate yourself with, ultimately you become a part of them. They become a part of you. So if these people are not positive, they're not doing anything positive, of course, you need to find ways to separate yourself from them, or either you can challenge yourself to actually elevate these people along with you.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as energy and time, if you have all that energy and time to elevate these people, then so be it. God bless you. But me, someone as such as myself, who I'm a family man, a husband, father, I don't have a lot of time to spend elevating other people. I've done it before. Trust me, it takes a lot out of you. It can be done.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it multiple times, but
we kind of do it through this platform in a way still.
Right. And it still takes a lot out of us, to be honest with you. But
it's like community service. So.
Right. But you know what I'm saying? Like you really need to take into account the people around you.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be more people who are positive, who can elevate you as well.
Yeah.
Because it's mentally draining and taxing on your energy to deal with people who are negative. Negativity drains you.
Yeah, like that. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And positivity uplifts you. It recharges you.
Yeah, what you were saying reminded me of that Joel Osteen song with Slim Thug. I think it's like church. I gotta say it like that because that's how you spell it. It's church, but it's like church. CHUUCH. But that is like true because hey, all throughout that song it just says watch the people you surround yourself with. So, yep.
Soaring with eagles. How can you soar with eagles if you're a chicken?
Yeah.
That type of thing. You can't. Chickens don't fly. They glide, but they don't fly.
And lastly, of course, so if you are having any of the feelings that we have gone through in this video, or if it's manifesting itself within your relationship and you are having a hard time addressing it with the tips that we have given you, it is always a valuable thing and a self-investment within yourself if you can seek professional help, whether that's from a therapist or coaches like us or counselors. You can go on wifeconomics.com, schedule a consultation if you are wanting to open up to us as well. But it's, of course, confidential during the consultation. And in these, you can certainly sit down and address what you feel like are your feelings of unworthiness. And we can come to maybe help you understand your feelings by talking with you, giving you a positive bouncing board that you can then recognize and strategize with, because that's really what it's all about when it comes to addressing thoughts and inner thoughts and feelings of unworthiness. It's just something that you have to kind of get rid of. Like you gotta beat it up and switch it up and change it up and put in the work that's gonna help you to actually build habits of positive thought instead. So just know that you are certainly Certainly, you are worthy of all the great things that you want in life. Never let anybody tell you that you're not. You are certainly also worthy of who you have to become in order to get all the great things in your life. So just know that you are worthy of the love, the respect, and all the happiness that you could ever dream of, plus more.
Yep, well said.
Thanks, babe.
Yep, you're welcome. So with that being said, Blueprint family, thank you all for joining us tonight.
Yeah.
By all means, if there is someone that you know, co-worker, family member, cousin, aunt, uncle, who needs to hear this message, please share it with them, and then have them to please like and subscribe. Until next time, you all have a wonderful night. Peace.
Peace.